let's talk about predictions. Let's get the foolishness out of the way. Who you got at the bottom?
All right, so at the bottom, I had him in. I think I had him in fourth in every category we talked about, except for Davis Mills. And the Texans are going to be at the bottom here. I have them just like the Falcons. I have them going 1-16. And I don't know if this is realistic. I think this projection is more based on like talent level. I think Davis Mills can be good enough, and like Brandon Cooks, I think Davis Mills is good enough to figure it out. Lovie Smith has enough. I don't think he's a great coach. I think he has enough coaching experience to figure it out. They'll probably end up with 3-4 wins, somewhere in that range, maybe 5, but not a good team this year. They still have a lot of work to do on this roster. So for me, I'm going to say 1-16.
Yeah, I have the Texans winning 4 games, and I have the Jaguars only winning 5.
Yeah, I'm pretty much right there. I have the Jaguars winning 6. I actually wanted to give the Jaguars more because I like some of the pieces that they have there. But for me, I think their defense is going to be a major liability for them this year. So count them as 6-11 for me.
All right. And then I'm certain that number 2, we both have the Titans.
It is going to be the Titans. I think trading A.J. Brown will prove to be John Robinson, who is the GM of the Titans. That'll prove to be the worst decision that he's made at GM. He's proved to be pretty damn good for the Titans, if we're going to be honest. But trading A.J. Brown was a massive mistake, in my opinion. And I think they're going to feel that. And I think the defense takes a small step back also this season. So for me, the Titans are going to be 9-8.
Yeah, and for anyone, last year, the last 2 years, we talked about the Colts and the Titans and the battle at the top. And I think that's gone. And if for no other reason, we talked about Brown being gone. We talked about, Tannehill falling off. We got Ryan coming into Indianapolis. There's so many different things we talked about. But if we just line up these schedules, the Titans get the short end of the stick in the head-to-head with the Colts. The Titans have the Bills, the Raiders, the Colts twice, the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Packers, the Bengals, the Chargers, and the Cowboys. And when we compare that to Indianapolis, there's a couple teams in here. The Colts have the Chiefs, Colts have the Broncos, which I think the Colts will beat the Broncos. I don't have a problem there. They have the Raiders and the Cowboys. So I think there's only 4 teams that can beat the Colts. I think there's 7 or 8 that can beat the Titans. We know that won't wash out that way, but still, when we look at those numbers, there's no way the Titans take the AFC South. And I've got the Colts with 14 wins.
And a lot of people, for people that don't pay attention to like how schedules are constructed, one of the things that like the Titans, they have a harder schedule because they finished first in their division. So when they put in the 17th game, they kind of changed the way they did some of it. So the Titans have to play the best team from certain divisions in the AFC and the NFC each year, and the Colts will play the second place teams from certain divisions from last year, and so on and so forth. So the Titans, the good teams, you kind of screwing yourself in that regard, but it works out for the NFL. You get good teams against good teams. But I agree with you. I think the Colts, I have them at 14-3 also. I was prepared to come into this with the take that is probably a biased pick. I can see them going 14-3. I can also see them going 11-6, but 11-6 is like the back end, right? Because we saw Carson Wentz take this team and go 9-8. This team now has Matt Ryan, Stephon Gilmore, Unique Ngakoue, and a couple more draft picks, hopefully a healthy Paris Campbell. And also, this team has the heartbreak of what happened against the Raiders and against the Jags last year. I don't think people are talking enough about how that kind of plays into the minds of these ultra competitive guys. So I expect that to be a factor. But again, I have the Colts between 11 and 14 wins this year.
Yeah, I like that you brought up that mindset thing. Those guys have had to chew on it. Indianapolis had no choice but to get rid of Wentz after that happening, because I think he deserves it. But whether you do or whether you don't, Wentz got the blame for what happened, despite what Frank Reich said in the media. I don't care. Everybody knows in the locker room they couldn't bring that guy back, and now they brought somebody better in. They all got better, and they do have something to prove. And you probably should put some stock in that for sure. That's a great point. Cool. So there you have it. Anything you want to say before we go?
Nah, man, I think I just spilled my brain. I've been waiting so long to talk about the Colts. I felt like I just talked so much right there.
Yeah, well, we're excited about this season. we're going to come back next week and we will update our projections based on the preseason and roster trims and injuries, that kind of thing. I will run down that real quick. And then right behind that, we're going to get into predictions and get the season started. So we're ready to go.
Yes, sir. Ready to get into it, man. Season can't start soon enough.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thanks for checking us out. We'll see you next week.